To follow me as far as the animal scientist and animal husbandman job here. He's a highly qualified man for his field, and I might say he's higher qualified than I ever thought of being. But I feel honored to have been asked to say a few words here today. I was privileged to have had the opportunity to teach in the Morris Egg School and to work as animal husbandman with the various classes of livestock. As many of you know, the Egg School started in 1910 with 100 students, and the experimental work started in 1911. Bill Jordan was hired as animal husbandman in 1915, and Jordan was an outstanding animal husbandman, a great judge of livestock and people. I inherited his great crew and one of the best secretaries in the university system, Gladys Zoll Henry. Let's take a look at livestock happenings at the West Central Station the past 100 years. I'm going to start with horses. 70 years ago, my first trip to the experiment station was to judge horses. At that time, I was a student at in St. Paul at the Ag School there, and I was out for the judging team. They brought us out here to judge the Percheron horses. They bought 4 purebred Percheron mares in 1927, and they filled a whole barn full of those Percherons. And of course they were used in field work. They were also used somewhat for show. And in the late 30s, a mare named Myrtle was grand champion at the Minnesota State Fair 3 different years in a row. And I thought you might know. Anyhow, during the 40s, with the advance in mechanization, there was less need for horses. And the last team was sold in 1952. That's the year before I came to the station. Now the Shorthorns were moved from the north half of the dairy barn to the horse barn. And then we had more room for dairy because the Shorthorns were over there in the horse barn. The herdsman was Walter Hokinson, and he started in 1931. And I don't know if Walter's here this afternoon, but he was over there this morning with the separators and making butter. The herd was handled as a practical farm herd with production records kept. The herd was used in livestock judging classes for the egg school and the butchering class if we had one that didn't conceive and wasn't going to have a calf. The bull calves were sold for breeding to the farmers out in the area. When I think of the production, as I look back in the records, in 1933 the average cow produced 340 pounds of fat. Then in 1938, Jordan bought a bull called Femco Deluxe from Femco Farms over here at Breckenridge. And he was a great bull as far as his offspring were concerned. His heifers produced 66 pounds more fat per year than their dams. So he got a good job done that way. I had the pleasure, or to call it that, of feeding him as a student down the St. Paul campus, and they barred him from Morris. And that bugger tried to get me every time I fed him. And he did the same thing out here, and Slim showed me this morning, he took the end of his finger off. I knew that. I said, Slim, what finger was it? He showed me. In '64, when Purcell took over as the dairy scientist, the herd average now was 568 pounds of fat and 14,560 pounds of milk. And I was glad that we got him up there before I turned him over to Purcell. There are a lot of big